Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in today. As always, looking forward to spending time with you. And today I've got some inspiration for our Lavinia Challenge. And if you've never entered our challenge before, pop along to the website and you'll find all the information there. But I must tell you, the winner's chosen at random and you win a £40 voucher to spend at Lavinia. So how fabulous is that? And we have a theme each month. And this month, for February, the theme is Humble Abode. So I thought I'd pop in with this little design, which I think is lovely. I mean, you can take that inspiration however you want. We've got fabulous houses, large, small, pixie houses. I mean, honestly, you will just fly with it. And I love looking at your inspiration. You know, there's nothing better than getting a cheeky brew and a biscuit and looking at inspiration. And especially if Mr. Mojo's gone on holiday, it really can entice him back. But for those eagle-eyed amongst you, you'll notice I've snuck in a couple of new little stamps. Now, shh, don't tell Tracy. Now, these may just be being released later this week. And I've snuck them in. I came up with this design and they just go so well. So I hope you'll join me. And this design all starts off, and I'm just going to put mine over here where I can see it, with a piece of the multifarious, and this is the A6. So just that lovely size A6. It's amazing how much you can fit on an A6 piece of card. And I know quite a lot of you worry about, that's not very clean, is it? Shall we turn it over? There we go, that's better. I'd edit that out if I knew how. Anyway, quite a lot of you prefer smaller cards. And again, you prefer more of an oblong design. So I thought I'd look after you and we'll have this one. And this could be done straight on your A6 if you want. Matte and layer it, totally up to you. And we're going to use this fabulous stamp called Fairy Door. Now to me, this is perfect for Humble Abode. Remember, use the acetate to decide where, and look, you get a lovely little mini stamp with it as well. Now, I'm going to use my Versafine Clair, and it's the Pinecone. So we're not stamping in black today. Just going to use the Pinecone. And again, nice inking. Oh, and as always, look, I've got some on my block, so I'll just wipe that off. And I'm going to stamp that sort of about here. It's quite difficult with having my white copy paper underneath, which I just do because in my head it helps me stamping. I can't see the edge, so it's not as easy to get it directly in the middle. So wherever it's gone, that's where it's going to be. But look at that detail. Absolutely beautiful. Now, in with our new stamps, and these two are fabulous. So this is Rosemary and Thyme. And I'm going to use two colours on them. So we're going to use the Pinecone, but also I'm going to come in with Verdant on one and Spruce on the other. And so what I'm going to do is with the Pinecone, ink up the pot. Now, I know I've got a little bit on the leaves, but just with a damp cloth, look, going to get rid. You could mask it off, but I've got to be honest, I haven't time. Life's too short for that. So I'm just going to go just about to where that join is. I'm not too worried, because if I miss a little bit, do you know what? I'll just put my pastel pencils on there. And I'm going to stamp that side of the door. And then the next one, so I'll do the same. And I tend to use the edge of my ink pad. And I can just see where I've inked up. Now that one, I've got a little bit of brown there, just a tiny. So again, I'll just give it a bit of a wipe. And then come in with the Spruce. Again, just go down roughly to where it joins. And as I say, if I miss a little bit, I'll just use my pastel pencils over it to fuzzy the edge. So I don't mind. So many possibilities for these, honestly. Gorgeous on tags. If you want to make hanging designs for your kitchen, I mean, I just think they're lovely. So now I just want to think of some foliage around here. It almost, you could extend it and make tree, you know, more of your branches, but I'm thinking this gorgeous little foliage stamp. So let's work our way, starting with the lightest colour, and we'll just stamp some odd leaves. And I'm going second generation, so for our lovely new followers, that's just where we don't re-ink. So first generation, we've got the ink, we don't re-ink, so second generation's paler. We've got only sort of half the ink. And you can even go third, fourth. And we want this to almost go into the distance, paler, sort of taper off, a bit of an ombre, but to nothing. Now that looks a bit regimented, so I'll just add the odd one to alter that shape. Now, because I want this a lovely cohesive design, I'm going to bring some of the darker green in. Now, the good thing about this is it's nice to work lighter to darker. And again, you can use that second generation and alter. And just be mindful and have a look and see how it's looking. Just a little bit more up there, I think. And I like that. So when I was making my original, I was happy with that. And to be honest, I was going to leave it at that stage. But then I thought, let's bring some of the brown in to really tie it all together. And if you're not sure, my best tip would be take a photograph of your card at this stage. Add a little bit of brown, take another photograph and compare the two. I find that so useful. So what I'm thinking is, look how it just brings that brown into it. Now, I don't want a lot with the brown. Maybe just at the end there. I don't want to overcook it. Just a couple on these. Especially at the branches. But there's something about it all going together. Now, I like that. I'm going to leave that. As I said, I don't want to overcook it with the brown. Now, again, because that stamping is with our permanent ink, we'll just give it a bit of a blot. Now, it could be you want to leave your design like this and you just want a clean, lined, stamped design. But we're going to add a bit of colour. So I've got my Sahara ink here. And I'm going to come in with my lovely brush. And I've gone for the larger one, the number 9. And as always, with the lid. And I'm just going to gently, gently blend some colour just over that foliage. And then under the door. Again, pick it up from the lid. And that just nicely takes that white off the card. So that was the Sahara. Very useful colour, that. And now for some depth. So this is Truffle. Now, the best tip I can give you here is don't worry if you get lines. So blend in the lid and start sort of circular motions and just add some colour all the way around. And I always ink up on the corners because I'm going to come in even darker on the corners. And if you get lines, you saw I got the odd one there, just keep working it. Again, ink up in the lid, corner, and just blend that colour down the side. And you'll get something like that. Now, I like that, but I want the corners deeper. So I'm actually going to come straight from my ink pad and just get that depth in the corners. I really want those deeper. But I've put the basic foundation there. And can you see, once I've added the colour, I then come in and just blend it. And if you just look at your corners, if you've got one that's a little bit lighter or darker, add a bit more. Number 3 brush, you know I love this. Let's just darken under here. I am going to add some pastel shading, but I just think if I start off that idea, that basic area where I want it darker. There we go. And I think already that looks better, doesn't it? So let's just, I'm going to move that out the way because a number of times I spritz my mat and end up getting it on my card. So I'm just going to clean this, otherwise I'm going to put my hands in it. There we go. Now to add some colour, lots of options. You can use your pencils. I've gone for my Zig pens. And the ones I'm going to use today, number 72 Beige, 24 Wine Red, always a favourite, 50 Yellow, and 66 Dark Oatmeal. So I'll take the lids off. And with the beige, I'm just going to add some colour just to the pots. Now, again, you'll take longer to do this. I mean, again, I could imagine just get yourself a lovely brew, a little snack. What's your snack of choice this week? Shortbread. What's your favourite biscuit? I think depending where you live, you'll have different snacks, won't you? So, must admit I love orange and chocolate myself. But as for favourite biscuit, I don't know what it'd be. I've got so many. Right, so that's the basis, just sort of the first layer of colour. And then I'm going to come in with the red. I love a red door. And I think because red goes so well with brown. And I'm just going in the direction of the wood. That way, if you miss bits, it almost helps. It makes it look, the wood look better. So dark oatmeal next. And we'll just add the steps. And then we can add a little bit of shading. So under there, and just at the bottom of our pot, and just on the tree, we just add. And again, you don't need to overthink it. It just adds to that overall effect. And the same way, I've got a yellow look. And I just think if I add the yellow on the top of these steps, gives a lovely highlight. And again, a little bit of yellow on the pot just brings out a lovely tone. And a little bit catching on some of these. And again, I'm not overthinking it. But if I bring that up, can you see? It just adds a lovely effect. Now, I'm just going to put the lids on these. Important to put the lids back on because I don't want them to dry out. But what I'm going to do now, red wink of Stella, and I'm just going to add a little bit over the top of that red. Just to add that little bit of sparkle to the fairy door. Because we like a bit of sparkle, don't we? And I think, you know what, that's nearly done. I mean, how effective is that? Couple of little tricks. Let's get our charcoal pencil and just the brown. That's all I'm going to use. And we'll just emphasise this shadowing a bit more. And again, this is just a biodegradable cotton bud. You can use your finger, but I'm really trying to keep a bit cleaner. And I'm just adding it a bit at a time. I don't want to overcook it. But when I add it, I can then look and decide, do I want a bit more? but it just gives a bit of oomph. I just think if I look at that now, but what I was saying, if I missed here, I would just add a little bit of charcoal in there and it almost disguise. So let's just add a little bit under that step. See, use my finger then. And if you want to emphasise any of these areas, just come in with that charcoal and darken it. So down this side, look. Again, just add a little bit. And then blend it. Just makes it look better, fixes it, but almost it makes it more forgiving. And you see how that now, for me, has just got more depth. And I want to add some of the water splats, but I like to wait till I've done all my stamping. This is permanent ink, so now's the time. I tend to do mine at the end. Fan brush in water. I mean, different people, you can do them before you stamp. But for me, I like to do my stamping first and just add my water splats at the end. When I know I can leave the card, give it time to dry. And then it can go round where my design is. So I know exactly where. And while that faux bleaching is working, I'll just get a white pen. That one doesn't want to work. I have a few of these and I go between my white pen and my Posca. I don't know about you. Mind you, my Poscas, I did a bit of a tidy up and I discovered I've got a lot of Poscas, so I need to have a look as to which ones are working. I'm terrible. You know, I don't like throwing them away. And I'm sure that's just me. So just a couple of white highlights just down the front and the top of that pot. A little bit on the top of the door, look. Maybe just on the odd leaf. Again, don't want to overcook it. Now, I would always leave this to dry because I like it the way it dries naturally. But just to show you, I'll just get my kitchen roll and just give it a bit of a dab just to help it. Now, it might be you dab it and you think, yeah, I'm happy with that. You can use your heat tool. Now, at this stage, if you wanted, oh, I love this bit here. You could bring in even darker. You can come back in. Once this is dry, you can come in and add your brown ink again if you want more of a frame. I like it all the way to the edge. But it's just, as always, I like to give you lots of choices. So I'm going to leave mine like that. But as I say, if you want yours darker, let it dry and then come back in with the ink. You can add the ink. You can even add your water splats again. But I think when it's matted and layered, look, with some brown, I think that makes a lovely design. So there's a sneak peek of a couple of our new stamps. So keep your eyes on social media. Look out for the inspiration from our creatives. Honestly, we've been working so hard. We love this collection. I know we say that every time, but I mean, Tracy's just fabulous at how she draws such detail. So the other thing is, remember to pop along to the website and have a look at the challenge. I mean, the fact that the winner's chosen at random, you're in with a chance. I mean, £40, what would you spend at Lavinia? I know I've got a list. I've always got a list. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. Have you got this stamp? Is it one you've had a while and you've not used very much? Now, if you have, my question to you is, have you still got the little stamp with it? Or has it gone walkabout? And have you lost any little stamps recently? I think some of mine went on holiday with Mr. Mojo. So, enjoy the rest of your week, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you again very soon. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.